Apple's iPad is widely regarded as the model to beat in the tablet market. Lenovo, on the other hand, isn't pleased to let Apple reign supreme, and its new Tab P11 Pro Gen 2, starting at $399.99, offers solid performance, a beautiful design, and a big, vibrant screen for $50 less than Apple's base offering, and $100 less than its predecessor, the Gen 1. Lenovo's latest isn't quite as powerful as the iPad, but it comes close. While the iPad remains our choice overall, the P11 Pro Gen 2 is a worthy Android tablet alternative. The Lenovo Tab P11 Pro Gen 2's good looks immediately wowed me. It's a striking aluminum slate that immediately catches your eye. The display on the front is a large 11.2-inch OLED with a resolution of 2560 by 1536 pixels and a contrast ratio of 1,000,000:1. Although the screen is 0.3 inch smaller than last year's model, the improved 120Hz refresh rate ensures a smooth experience when scrolling through apps, playing games, or watching videos. Because the bezels are thin, the screen-to-body ratio is 85%, which is good for a device in this price range. A small selfie camera is tucked in the device's long edge, making it ideal for video meetings while propped up. Despite its large screen, the tablet isn't overly large. It weighs 470 grams and measures 26 by 16, 66 by 0.66 centimeters. I'd prefer it if it were a little lighter, but it's the same weight as the competing iPad. The metal back panel has an appealing two-tone storm gray color and a gleaming silver Lenovo logo. A small round camera sits in the upper right corner, and a tiny oval just below the camera module indicates where you can charge the optional Lenovo Precision Pen 3. The chassis does attract fingerprints, but this is a minor complaint given the overall stunning design. The volume controls are located on the top edge, while the power button, 2 speakers, and a microSD card tray are located on the right. Unlike last year's model, which included a fingerprint reader in the power button, there is no fingerprint scanner for security. You do get facial recognition, however. The bottom edge houses the connector for the optional Lenovo keyboard, while the left side houses the USB-C port and 2 more speakers. On the subject of speakers, JBL tuned the quad array to support Dolby Atmos. When watching video or listening to music, the sound quality is among the best I've heard on a tablet, with pleasing highs and thumping lows. The Lenovo Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 lacks an IP rating, as do most tablets, so be cautious around dust, dirt, and liquids. The Lenovo Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 comes with some impressive specs. The tablet comes with 4 GB of RAM at $399.99 or 6 GB at $429.99. Both models include 128 GB of UFS 3.1 internal storage and an octa-core MediaTek Companion 1300T processor with 4 2.6 GHz Cortex-A78 cores and 4 2.0 GHz Cortex-A55 cores. For gaming and other graphically intensive activities, the Companion is equipped with an ARM Mali G77 GPU. GPUs are used in gaming and other graphically intensive activities. When it came to benchmarks, the tablet performed admirably. The Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 scored 773 on the single-core test and 2,672 on the multi-core test on Geekbench 5. The results are significantly lower than the 2022 iPad, which scored 1,573 and 4,097 on the single and multi-core tests, respectively. That's not surprising given that Apple devices consistently outperform their Android counterparts in benchmark tests. Perhaps a more important comparison is with the Tab P11 Pro from last year, which scored 565 and 1,779 on Geekbench 5. In other words, there is a noticeable increase from year to year. On the GFX Bench Aztec 1440p off-screen test, the Lenovo tablet bridged 20 frames per second, which is a good result for such a demanding benchmark. In terms of gameplay, we played Genshin Impact at medium graphics settings and a frame rate of 60 frames per second, and it ran fairly well, with only a couple of noticeable dropped frames. This is not surprising given that Genshin Impact is one of the most graphically demanding mobile games available. Overall, real-world performance is satisfactory. The Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 can handle it all, whether you want to play games, crunch numbers in spreadsheets, or simply browse the web. Wi-Fi 6 was also used to test Wi-Fi performance. We tested the speed of the tablet and an iPhone 14 Pro Max in the same room as our router to see if there was a difference between the two devices. The iPhone averaged 326 megabits per second down and the Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 averaged 354 megabits per second down in this trial, indicating that there was no discernible speed difference between them. We then moved to the network's edge and repeated the test. The iPhone averaged 36 megabits per second and the P11 Pro averaged 32 megabits per second in this test. Again, the difference was minor, which is understandable given that both devices support Wi-Fi 6 and have powerful modems. The tablet's Bluetooth radio improves from version 5.0 to version 5.1, but it loses LTE cellular connectivity along the way. Another important performance metric is battery life, and the Lenovo Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 delivered with its 8000 mAh cell. The tablet lasted 8 hours and 2 minutes while streaming a YouTube video over Wi-Fi with the screen brightness set to maximum. That's significantly longer than the latest iPad, which lasted 5 hours and 59 minutes, but significantly shorter than the 10 to 13 hours we measured with the 8600 mAh battery in the Gen 1 Tab P11 Pro. We were able to charge from 0% to 100% in 3 hours and 46 minutes. This is roughly how long we'd expect the large power cell to charge at 20 watt, the device's maximum charging speed. A cable and 20-watt charger are included in the box. When it comes to tablet cameras, it's best to keep your expectations low. They'll never compete with the photography experience provided by smartphones. The Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 has a single 13-megapixel camera on the back, which falls short of the multi-lens setups found on some tablets. Photos taken with the rear camera look good if the lighting is good and you're shooting from a reasonable distance. If you need to zoom in, move into macro mode, or capture a wide, sweeping landscape, your results will be disappointing. A front-facing 8-megapixel selfie camera is a slight improvement over the previous generation tablet's 5-megapixel option. We like how it sits along the tablet's long edge, which makes it more convenient for video calls and other activities that require you to use the tablet in landscape mode. However, the photos aren't the best, especially when examined closely. But, once again, if you're in good lighting, it does the job. The rear camera can record video at up to 4K resolution and 30 frames per second, which is adequate for a tablet in this price range. The front camera is capable of 1080p at 30 frames per second, which is adequate for video chats. On the Tab P11 Pro Gen 2, Lenovo provides a fairly stock skin of Android 12 that looks and feels good. It includes applications such as Entertainment Space, Google Kids Space, Lenovo Instant Memo, My Script Calculator 2, and Nebo. You can access all kinds of content from various video, music, and other services by swiping from the home screen into Entertainment Space. Lenovo includes its productivity mode on this Pro tablet. When you enable this mode, the standard Android user interface is replaced with one that more closely resembles a Chromebook, complete with a taskbar with a navigation icon and shortcuts to some of your most used apps. This mode works best when combined with the Lenovo keyboard pack sold at $99.99, which includes a touchpad for on-screen navigation. Lenovo has changed its upgrade policy and now provides 2 Android version upgrades, to Android 14 in this case, as well as 3 years of security patches. For a $400 tablet, that's a lot of long-term support. It's not quite as good as Apple and Samsung's upgrade policies. The Galaxy Tab S8 will receive updates through Android 16, but when compared to most Android tablet makers, many of which don't even announce upgrade plans, Lenovo is doing well. The Lenovo Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 is reasonably priced at $399.99. It has enough performance to outperform budget models, but it costs a lot less than a high-end offering like the $699.99 Samsung Galaxy Tab S8. Even with the optional keyboard and stylus, the total cost is around $570, which is a good deal when compared to a similarly equipped Galaxy Tab or iPad. Given its vibrant screen, solid performance, and appealing design, the Tab P11 Pro Gen 2 should be near the top of your list if you're looking for an Android tablet. If you aren't committed to Android, the base model iPad remains our overall top pick.